Hello everybody, Sal, Stretford Post, how you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing good, everyone's doing fine. I hope everyone's having a good, Thursday morning for me. Hope everyone's good, guys. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video if you guys can kindly do that for me. That'd be absolutely fantastic. You absolute legends. Guys, let's get straight into it. You know what? We've been linked to a number of players this summer. We will be linked to a number of other players this summer. But it seems like to me that we're putting all our eggs in one basket. Mr. Wilcox has been highly admirable of Liam Delap. Liam Delap, of course, has been on Manchester United's radar for a very long time now. And it seems like we've been chasing this player forever. For whatever reason, I'm not going to slander the player because obviously we don't know, the ins and outs and how good this player can possibly become. As we all know, Goalkeeper came to Man United, went to Sporting Lisbon from Coventry City and turned into an absolute baller. You know, so I'm not going to criticize the player too much, but what I want to know about Ineos and what I want to know with Jason Wilcox, did we only have Liam Delap as our option? Now, Liam Delap obviously wasn't our first option. Goalkeeper, Osman, these are our first options, these two options. And then there's Liam Delap. So what happens after Liam Delap? Where do we go from Liam Delap? Have Wilcox and co got a backup plan? Have they got a backup plan in case we don't get Liam Delap? Now, Liam Delap looks most likely to join Chelsea. He's made his decision. The Champions League, obviously, is a big factor in this. And, of course, Chelsea winning the Conference League yesterday didn't do any harm to the reputation of Chelsea. First team to win all European trophies, of course. So we have to ask ourselves, this was always a possibility that Liam Delap would not go to Manchester United. This is Jason Wilcox's guy. Jason Wilcox's guy, Liam Delap, choosing Chelsea over Man United. What kind of message does that send out to our current regime? What does that send out to Jason Wilcox? And how do people feel about that in the fan base? My biggest thing, and I know that players can reject teams. I know I've seen players reject us many times, a lot of times from Chelsea. But my main thing is this. If the player didn't want to play for Man United, we should have known that the player didn't want to play for Man United. He wanted to be in the Champions League. These are things that we had to clarify, before we started going gun-ho with this player. Now, of course, it's not over. He's not signed pen to paper yet on the deal with Chelsea, but it does look like he's going to Chelsea. And what are we doing wasting our time here? Manchester United have got a lot of work to do in this summer window. We do not have time to mess around with players who are second-guessing whether they want to come to Man United. They're second-guessing whether they really want to. Do I really want to go to Man United? We don't want to know that. Do you want to sign for Man United? Yes or no? No? Okay, we move on. Yes? Okay, there. But we need to have backup plans, contingency plans. That's what Man United need. It seems like we lack that. So if we don't get Liam Delap, who are we getting? And don't throw Mbeumo at me because he's not a striker. Cunha is not a striker. We need a proper number striker. Now, if you look at yesterday's game in a friendly, of course, it is a friendly. I don't want to go over the top in regards to it. But it was glaringly obvious that we need an attacking outlet, someone who could put the ball in the back of the net, someone who has the movement. Now, it's not just obviously Rasmus, of course, and Chido Obo-Martin. Our team in general doesn't have enough movement. We don't have enough creativity. We don't spread the game enough. And we just give away, opportunity after opportunity in regards to attacking play, attacking phases. And we don't get that ball in the back of the net. And it seems like no matter who scores against us, if you score first, you most likely will win the game. But in regards to Liam Delap, would Liam Delap change Manchester United's fortunes anyway? Probably not straight away. Liam Delap shouldn't be in the Man United team straight away. If he signed for Man United, he shouldn't be in the team straight away. Of course not. He's young. Look what's happened to Rasmus. We destroy young players because we put too much pressure on them straight away. We do need an experienced striker, number one priority. That's what Man United need. An experienced striker who can hold the line, create spaces, bring other players into play, and then we go from there, But if Liam Delap doesn't want to play for Man United, then Liam, thank you, good luck, goodbye. Next. That's how it should be. Because we've got too much work to do to be messing around. And as I said, I broke it on Stretford Post yesterday. We have messed up the Delap deal. That was my thumbnail yesterday. Now, obviously, other outlets are following with that trend. Obviously, yesterday evening, talking about Delap has made his decision. We have messed up the deal. And this is exactly what I said yesterday. Of course, we've messed up the deal and we've completely gone kerfuffle with everything, of course. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. You're absolute legends. Big up Gamer TV. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Garnacho from United. Well, please, Eric Ten Hag, you can take Garnacho. 50 million. I'll snap your hands off, mate. I'll snap your hands off. Big up Gamer TV. Manchester United are open to deal, including Marcus Rashford. Yeah, Marcus Rashford, Araujo, and Fernan Lopez on the turn. Hansi Flick and Deco will be open to the Uruguayan. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, they're open. And they're also open for Marcus Rashford to be signing for Barcelona, which will be a magnificent move for Marcus Rashford. Let me tell you, Marcus, this is your opportunity. Go and grab your opportunity, mate. There you go. Big up Sanjay. How you doing? Big up Randy. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Good morning, Ellen. Do you ever sleep? I work hard, Ellen. I work hard. Absolutely. I've got to work hard, you know. And not only that, it's 3 hours ahead in UAE, isn't it? So, I woke up today at 5. I had a lot to do. So obviously I'm completely shattered, but I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm buzzing for, to bring you the news and stuff like that and to talk about football. But, Man United, it seems like we're in a massive crisis right now, and yesterday kind of sort of added salt into the wound. This is why I never wanted Man United to play this friendly anyway, because I knew the way Man United were going, the season that we've had, regardless who we're playing against, right? Let me tell you something. The players on the pitch for the ASEAN All-Stars yesterday included professional footballers, ex-players, good players, pros. So when you're leaving a season that you've been absolutely dreadful and you're playing against a team that want to prove a point that is the biggest game of their life, that's kind of thing can happen. That happens in the FA Cup. Teams lose against smaller teams and stuff like that. That happens, especially if you're not on it, which Man United were and weren't yesterday. And obviously, the most important thing for me is looking at players in regards to the team, the young players coming through. Very impressed with a few players there. Thwaite, brilliant. Kone, brilliant. Of course, Shea Lacey had some brilliant touches in the game. I would like Chido to get more into the game. I think Chido's got the ability. He needs to use his power a little bit more, but there we go. But that just overemphasizes, again, what we need. Man United needs strikers. Man United need experience. Man United needs someone to hold that line who knows how to do it. He scored goals wherever he's been. That's what we need. Big up, Kenny. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Top of the day. I honestly don't even know where to begin from there, but we need to get the deals done before the actual preseason starts. This is the thing, Kenny, and it is exactly what I've been trying to push, What is our backup plan? What's our contingency plan? Why are we waiting so long? Why are we chasing Liam Delap so long? Liam Delap is not R9. Yeah, we need to remember that he's not R9, and at the end of the day, if he doesn't want to come to Man United, this is precisely what we need to avoid, right? We don't want to be chucking money at players purely for the fact that and make them come to the club purely for the fact that they want to get paid a lot of money. We need players who want to play for Man United, who desire to play for Man United. That's what we need. And especially players like Liam Delap, who've been relegated with Ipswich Town. We cannot be chasing these players again and again. Basically bowing down to Liam Delap. We can't be doing that. Man United need to move on from that mentality and that culture because we don't want any more players that, I'm signing for Man United because of the money. I don't want anything like that. We need players that actually want to play for this great football club of ours. Of course, Leeson, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. That's a big blow for Ineos, especially Wilcox. These things can happen, Leeson. These things can happen in football. But what I want to know is, what is Wilcox's backup plan? If we're not going to get Osman, if we're not going to get Gyökeres, what are we going to get? Who are we going to get? Who's the next player on the line, guys? Who's the next player who's going to walk through the door? I want to know that. And this is something that we should have been planning for a long time ago. Now, we know that we got a list of players. We know we've been linked with a lot of players. We know that. So why don't we just go and get these players? If you want to go and get Matata, go and get Matata. Go and get Mateta now. If you can't get Liam Delap, get Mateta. I personally think he'd be better for Man United anyway. Right? Get Mateta, 60 million, pay the money, get him. That's what we do. That's what we should do at the end of the day. And obviously get Mbeumo as well. Right now, Man United should be working on a deal for Mbeumo. Man United should be working on a deal for obviously a striker, and Man United should be trying to get players out the door right now. Obviously, there was a lot of fuss about Jadon Sancho last night winning the Conference League. A lot of people overhyping Jadon Sancho again. Jadon Sancho, who, of course, the freedom fighter, who's had 4 goals, 3 assists, isn't it, this season? Something like that. 3 goals, 4 assists this season in about 30 games. It's pathetic, to be honest with you. So at the end of the day, I don't understand this, that, you know, I proven my point in regards to La Liga. La Liga is just 2 teams. La Liga is Barcelona and Real Madrid right now. And even Real Madrid are not that good. Look what happened with them with Arsenal, you know. So at the end of the day, I don't take too much interest in the way that Chelsea dismantled Betis, because I expected it at the end of the day. And there you go. When Anthony plays against a good team from the Premier League, he went completely missing, guys. Absolutely. He went completely missing. So at the end of the day, look, I look at this and I think that the Premier League teams are too strong. And Jadon Sancho had a good goal. It was a good goal. But that doesn't mean anything for him. We know he can get into those positions. We got a lot of players who can get into those positions and bend goals in. Marcus Rashford has done that many, many times. It doesn't mean that you're going to be the player to take Man United forward. And I think that he just needs to leave the football club. Apparently, he said that he's not going back to Man United. This is what the rumors were. I don't know about that. Obviously, I'm not a lip reader or anything like that. But, you know, I wouldn't. I don't want him back, to be fair. I don't want him back. No, I'd rather someone else. I'd rather bring a youth player through. But again, bringing it back to the news, Liam Delap has decided on Chelsea. It does look that way, that he will be signing for Chelsea. Jason Wilcox, man, his friend, his buddy, has rejected the chance to sign for Man United and decided to join Chelsea. And how not a great start, is it really, Jason? Not really. Not a great start, but we have to move on from there. Now, Man United are obviously looking at a goalkeeper at the moment. There's many goalkeepers out there that Man United have been linked with. Obviously, we've been linked with Seny Lamens, a good goalkeeper, of course. You know, we've been linked with a number of players around Europe. The Espanyol goalkeeper as well. We've been linked with, of course, as my guy said earlier. And, you know, who do we want in goal for Manchester United? Do we want Costa? Who do we want? But Manchester United are interested in James Trafford. James Trafford, who is the 3rd choice goalkeeper for England, has obviously been linked with Man United in the past. Man United seem very interested in James Trafford. James Trafford seems like the most likely goalkeeper that Manchester United are going to go for should Onana leave. Now, look, I don't know too much about James Trafford. All I know is that he's an England international. And you know what? I think he plays for Burnley, doesn't it? At the end of the day. So look, what I would say is that that is a punt. That's a risk. But if we're going to get rid of Bayindir, bringing in James Trafford as a 2nd goalkeeper maybe is a good thing, and you know, to rotate. And obviously we need to rotate. If Onana doesn't leave and Bayindir leaves, we do need another goalkeeper anyway. So we might as well bring in a good goalkeeper that is capable, that can challenge Onana for his position. I do think Onana needs to leave the football club. As much as some people do like Onana, he's got a great personality, but personalities don't win you leagues. You know, he's a bit of a bozo sometimes, and we can't be having that in the team anymore, guys. Unfortunately. Randy, Matata will be okay. He will be good. Yeah, absolutely, Randy. Kone looked good yesterday. Yaya Torres start. He did look good yesterday. And one thing about Kone, Leeson, is that what I liked is that he was give and go. You know, he kept the ball. He didn't lose the ball. And as soon as he passed it, never lost the ball. As soon as he passed it, straight forward. You know, bringing the ball forward, controlling the ball. That's what I liked about him, because recently we're losing that. That little bit of youth, that little bit of pace that we need, we've been missing for so long now. And I thought that he did very well. One of the standout players yesterday. Shea Lacey was good. Thwaites. Guys, that tackle at the end, right? That tackle from Thwaites at the end was absolutely incredible. What a tackle. Nemanja Vidic-esque. Good player, this Thwaites. We have a good conveyor belt of young defenders coming through at Man United. And that's one good thing about it. You know, we do. Obviously, some of them not ready, as evident yesterday. I felt Kukunki struggled a little bit in the game. And when he came on, I felt he was a little bit here and there. Monroe was a little bit here and there. And you have to consider the opposition. But the opposition were really up for the game. They really wanted to win that game. Of course, it's probably the biggest game in their lives, you know, at the end of the day. Almac, good morning, my friend. I'll be doing well. The fans are in denial. Most of the strikers people bring up better options. We don't have a Euro Champions League football. The club is a mess. We are running out of options. Vival and Wilcox better pull the finger. Well, there you go. We have to. Don't listen to what Ineos got. Ineos have got money. Don't fall for that trick. Morning, Sal. Who do you think is plan C, D? This is what it is. Exactly, Shalom. The plan C, D, E. You know, this is what I want to know about. You know, Man United are linked with a lot of attacking midfielders, a lot of defenders, a lot of midfielders, and we need to know what our striking options are. Obviously, there is Matata, who Manchester United are interested in. There's Ollie Watkins, who Manchester United are interested in. There's obviously Jonathan David, who's another one who's been having interest about here and there over the last few years. Jonathan Davis is a difficult one because I don't know why that Jonathan Davis is not. No one is showing interest in regards to Jonathan Davis, which is a little bit weird considering he's going to be a free transfer, you know. But there are a number of players. Retigi is another one from Atalanta, another great striker that Man United could be linked with, you know. Obviously, there's the unrealistic targets, Isaac and players like that. Now, no signing has been signed on a dotted line yet. Gutierrez is not signed for anyone yet. You know, Osman has not gone to Saudi Arabia yet. But, you know, so there is still a slight chance that Man United could get these deals over the line. We don't know that, right? But one thing is Champions League football is important to some players. Obviously, it was important to Liam Delap. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Then if you just want UEFA Champions League football and you don't want to sign for Man United, then you know where the door is. You know where the door is. If you don't want to sign for Man United, then go. Then we don't want to know anymore. That is it. As simple as that. Goals for George. Liam Delap is better off elsewhere, as I never wanted him anyway. Couldn't believe United are being made to wait for Liam Delap. Ipswich, whose par was Stoke player, big diss. At the end of the day, look, you know what? Man United, we need players to want to sign for Man United. Whether it's Liam Delap or it's someone else or it's Osman or it's Gutierrez, it's exactly the same for me. None of us, including you, Joseph George, know how good the ceiling is, how high the ceiling is for Liam Delap. You know, we all know that Ruben Amorim likes Liam Delap. He's an admirer of him. And we know that what Ruben Amorim can do with young strikers, i.e. what he did with Gutierrez coming from Coventry City. Now, imagine we signed Gutierrez from Coventry City. You know, imagine that. And we'll be like, who's this player? Who's that player? He signed for Sporting and became an absolute legend over there, you know. So, you know, one thing I would say is that, okay, Liam Delap was never my first choice, just like Goals for George was not my first choice. I think what Man United need right now is someone who could put the ball in the back of the net and someone who's proven to put the ball in the back of the net. And that is what Man United should be fighting tooth and nail to do right now. You know, stop waiting around for players that are with potential, that is a punt. We need to go out there and try and get the best in class, as they said, of course. Good morning, Ephraim. Good morning, Sal. We do not convince Delap. We are in big trouble. At the end of the day, look, I'm not going to exclusively hold this against Wilcox, okay? It didn't work. But what I want to know is that what is going on now? Where do we go from here? What is Jason Wilcox's next plan? You know, that's what I want to know because we are linked with a lot of players. So I want to know what his next plan is. I don't want us to be chasing all summer for Liam Delap. You know, I don't want to be do that. Yeah, right now, if we can't look at strikers, let's look at Mbeumo. Let's try and get Mbeumo through the door. Try and get someone else, you know, through the door. That's what we should be doing and working hard to get these players, you know, rather than just sitting around twiddling our thumbs, waiting for that phone call from Liam Delap. We shouldn't be doing that. We need to move on. If he doesn't want to sign for Man United, you know, go to Chelsea. Good luck. And we move on at the end of the day and move on to a next striker, to be honest with you. Guys. Hisham, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Dallas Onana and Maguire came to India this morning. Yes, I saw them on the news. I saw them in India. They're doing some PR, isn't it, Hisham? Around there. I mean, Man United are just ridiculous. Man United have just finished the season. Liverpool on the beach. Arsenal on the beach. Man City on the beach. You know, and what are Man United doing? Traveling the world right now. You know what I mean? These players should be gone or they should be negotiating leaving the football club. Because at the end of the day, I have no affiliation with any of those players, in particular, the experienced players. I don't care no more about those players. And all this PR stunts that they're doing around India and Hong Kong and, you know, and Malaysia, you know, it's just pointless and it doesn't help. It doesn't help. And yesterday obviously didn't help, did it? You know, it actually had an adverse effect at the end of the day. Shah, how embarrassing for Man United. They wanted this player for so long and confident to get the deal over the line and could not lose to Chelsea. This is nothing new, Shah. Man United have always lost deals to Chelsea. We've lost Quenda this year, of course. Remember Mikel, who went to Chelsea, who actually held the Man United shirt up and ended up signing for Chelsea. This has happened many times. Arjen Robben wanted to go to Chelsea instead of Man United. Eden hasn't. wanted to go to Chelsea instead of Man United. Didier Drogba wanted to go to Chelsea instead of Man United. And, you know, they've done this for a very, very long time, and they seem to be very good at it, you know. And, you know, we have to look at ourselves and think, you know what, if you don't want to sign for Man United, just move on and just get someone else, you know, because Chelsea are not going to sign every striker in Europe, you know. You know, if you want to go and get Ekitike, go and get Ekitike. Go and get that player. You know, try and get him. You know, try. You know, there's players in South America. You know, and you know that are very, very good at a reasonable price as well that we can get, who would love to come to the Premier League. There's loads of players out there that we have to try at least, not just put our eggs in one basket. It does seem that we're putting our eggs in one basket, and we shouldn't be doing that. Again, putting our eggs in one basket and waiting to there. Well, excellent. Sid, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing? Well, rumors hearing about Liga, Keegan, with Lamine and Kamara. Yes, rumors about rumors, of course, are circulating about the versatile player Canning Lee. Canning Lee plays for PSG. He is a right winger by trade. 36 caps for South Korea. 9 goals. His contract runs out in 2028. His market value is 30 million euros. About 22 million pounds, something like that, which is not too bad. Has struggled to break into the PSG side this season. The great thing about Mr. Lee is that he is a right winger, centre forward, and attacking midfielder. A very versatile player, incredibly versatile. But Man United face competition from the likes of Napoli and Arsenal. Napoli and Arsenal also interested in Lee, but Man United feel they can get a deal for this player. Now, look, you know, I like the South Korean players. They've got a work ethic. It always reminds me of Ji-Sung Park, of course. Ji-Sung Park, who was a very good player, worked very hard, and, you know, were always available and never injured. You know, this is basically Man United have a rich history with this. So I would like this kind of signing. I don't mind this kind of signing. You know, obviously PSG saw a lot in him for him to sign for PSG, massive club, of course, in France. So at the end of the day, another player that, you know, Man United interested in, but we know what we're going to say, isn't it? Interested, getting is two different things, isn't it? Two different things. Are Man United interested? You know, if Napoli come calling, if Arsenal come calling, is he going to go to United or is he going to go to Napoli and Arsenal? This Europa League final, which we should have won, right, is absolutely screwed us over tenfold. You know, it's absolutely messed us up completely. Absolutely. Shah, I saw a few fan channels really doing a fan reaction to irrelevant post season tour yesterday. Look, guys, these guys, they'll grab on and they'll grasp onto anything. It was kids playing yesterday, you know, and the team was rotated completely. The Asian All-Stars have played together before. I know a lot of people said they haven't. They have a lot of big experienced players in the Asian All-Stars. Of course, we shouldn't be losing these games. I know that. But the overreaction is, you know, ridiculous. The overreaction is ridiculous. And, you know, they're just waiting for that. You know, they're waiting for that. It's a bit like the Jadon Sancho lovers. They've had their Jadon Sancho tweets in the drafts for a long, long time. Yesterday, they finally got a chance to get the Jadon Sancho tweet out, you know? 4 goals, 3 assists all season, something like that. I mean, come on, guys. You know what I mean? Is that top level? Is that for you, top level? They're clowns, mate. Absolutely. Glazer's gonna write a book, The Great Heist. Yeah. Big up, Coco. What's going on, my legend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're good, my friend. Good to see you. Messi's into Miami. Played Hong Kong 11 last year and won 4-1 without Messi and Suarez. Can Man United do the same next? Man United were in the MLS team. They wouldn't be in the top 5 teams either. I don't know about that. I think that's an overreaction. I've seen the teams there. They're very poor. Just because they have a couple of good players doesn't mean that they're a couple of aging players doesn't mean that Man United wouldn't win that league. Man United will win that league. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's rubbish. In regards to Hong Kong, you know, that was a Hong Kong 11. Man United are playing the proper Hong Kong. Hong Kong 11 is different. You know, it's a mixture of different players from different eras and stuff. Man United are playing the proper Hong Kong. Will Man United win? I don't know. Man United don't have the firepower to score 4 goals, but I think Man United will win that game. I think they will. Man United will get in the top 5. I think that's an absolute, you know, most teams in Miami, in America would get relegated in the Premier League. That's what I would say in regards to that, even into Miami, you know, I would say that. So that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, Pearl. wouldn't get in the top 5 teams. Come on. You know, that's disrespectful to Man United. I know we're bad, but we're not that bad. Absolutely not. I would love to play into Miami. It would be a nice, easy game. What's the story about the strike, bro? Pick up, Kevin. How you doing, my friend? Basically about Liam Delap choosing Chelsea over Man United. Liam Delap is rumoured to have made his decision in regards to either signing for Man United or signing for Chelsea. It looks like he's chosen Chelsea over Man United, which is an absolute disgrace for Jason Wilcox and, of course, the club as well. Now what Man United need to do is just move on from that transfer. Move on from that. Let's move swiftly away from that. Coco, honestly, I think that might be blessing in disguise. I don't know, Coco. We have to wait and see. None of us really know the ins and outs, and none of us really know how good Liam Delap can be, do we, Coco? He might be the next Gutierrez. We don't know, do we? You know, all we know is he scored 12 goals for Ipswich in a relegation side, which is more than our strikers have scored. You know, so you don't know how good he's going to become. Alan Shearer started at Southampton. You know, these players started at Chris Sutton at Norwich City. You know, Harry Kane was at Leyton Orient, you know, a few years before he went to a World Cup. You know, at the end of the day, this is how it is sometimes. And, you know, you never know how good they're going to be. I mean, there is obviously Chelsea rate him. Obviously, Man United rate him. So he's obviously got something there that they admire. With these players, we cannot go anywhere. We have to sign good ASAP. Of course, we're not going to sign crap players. I hope we don't. Manchester and Liverpool interested in our Atalanta midfielder Ederson this summer. We know that Man United have always been interested in Ederson. Gamer TV. It's been over a year. I've been talking about Ederson. Wilcox was the driving force behind the Delap deal. Now we might not get him. We'll now get a Southampton striker we work with. You never know what we're going to get, Shah Alam. Let's not speculate. We don't know what we're going to get at the end of the day. And I would say about Ederson, Gamer, I know you're copy and pasting things from Twitter. Please refrain from doing that. Please. But Ederson wants Champions League football, Gamer TV. What is your thought on Anthony yesterday? Before poor, average, went missing, typical, played a good team, finally played a Premier League team, and there you go, went missing. I told these people about the Premier League. People were going, but Aaron Robben used to cut in and shoot. You know, yeah, but against, you know, it was Aaron Robben had a lot more strings to his bow. You know what I mean? I would say that it was poor, and Chelsea easily marked him out of the game. Santos scored yesterday. Chelsea, please trigger £25 million. They're not going to do it, mate. They're not going to do it. Absolutely not. Good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Kona is real. He is. We need to start playing him. Play him next game, of course. I think we'll play him against Hong Kong. We have never beat Chelsea for a player. No, we don't, Randy. We don't. Through history, even with Alex Ferguson, you know, through history. Toxie, I have said it, don't put eggs in one Delap's basket. Yeah, we haven't at the end of the day, but they have. Toxie. I think everyone was saying that, Toxie, not just you. I think everyone was saying don't put all your eggs in just the Delap basket. I think we all knew that. I think it's pretty obvious. Wilcox was chasing Delap for a long time. And I think all of us were saying he needs to move on from Delap. If Delap doesn't want to go, then, you know, I've been saying that for months at the end of the day. But obviously, they rate Delap. Obviously, Chelsea rate Delap, you know. And there you go. Obviously, there's something in Delap that they see. And obviously, to fight tooth and nail for Delap, you know, at the end of the day. United just signed a Nigerian Super Eagles goalkeeper. Money, the man is a unit and would cost peanuts for his club in South Africa. It's a big difference between South African football and English football, my guy. And now they have no cheap option to sign strikers, whether they like it or not. Yeah, what now this is where the test becomes, isn't it, Ephraim? This is where they test. Are they going to go out and try and sign Osman? Are they going to try and Gutierrez? Throw everything at them. See what we can do. Big up, GK, big up. Ineos will now look at a cheaper striker. You might look at a cheaper striker, they might look at a more expensive striker. Who are we going to get is cheaper than Delap? 30 million release clause. Who are we going to get? No one. So at the end of the day, it'd probably be more expensive than Liam Delap, if we're being honest. Brian and Bremer would be a great signing. He would. Hopefully, Man United can get in for him very soon, of course. Guys, absolutely. Dalot, Onana, Maguire came to Mumbai. Good luck to them. I would rather be a million places, but there. Good morning, guys. Big up, Tyborg. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Why Omar Barada and Jason Wilcott do not tell what is got the target for the transfer window? Because they're keeping their cards close to the chest. They don't want to make themselves look stupid, which they are. predictable. But let's see what they do. Look, I'm not going to absolutely give up and say, look, they're absolute clowns, they're frauds, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna see what can you do for us? Go on. Who's the next striking option? Who's the next player who's going to come through the door? Show us what you got, Ineos. Tell us what you got. Wilcox. If we sell Sancho, we have over 10.4 million profit. Do you think that's enough to get Gyökeres in installments? Probably. Gyökeres has a release clause, of course. So can Man United do a deal with interest? Maybe. Obviously, it depends on Gyökeres, the player. Gyökeres has also already distanced himself from a move to Manchester United. Obviously, Champions League football was a big factor. And if he wants to play Champions League football, then, that's not the signing we want. We want players who want to come to Man United. We want players who want to sign for Man United. No, I don't want to sign players because we throw money at them. I want players to want to sign for Man United because we know what happens, of course. Was embarrassing? Yeah, well, let's not overreact in regards to it. It was a friendly. Why are you obsessed with Chelsea, Sal? Why are we obsessed with Chelsea? Yeah, probably, Shaw. Probably. Probably. Goals to George. United need that Cunha, Mbeumo, and Bruno can notice and respect. Recruitment team are jokers and don't understand hierarchy in football team. Strikers are alpha dogs and must be elite. Alex Ferguson, throughout Alex Ferguson's tenure at Man United, he always signed experienced strikers. Apart from one or two, like Rooney, who's generational, Man United used to sign experienced strikers. You can remember Berbatov, you can remember Robin van Persie, even Mark Hughes to an extent, Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was 24, something like that when he signed for Man United. Tevez, and, they were at the peak, coming towards their peak or at their peak. An experienced striker is a must because it's a specialized position. It's a bit like a goalkeeper. You wouldn't play a goalkeeper, a 19-year-old goalkeeper in goal, unless you're Casillas or that kind of player. You wouldn't do that. You'll play an experienced goalkeeper who's in the mid-20s, something like that. So, having an experienced striker is very important. I agree. And I hope that Man United can, It's embarrassing they do bus paid in Malaysia. They done it for money, Ephraim. You know why? You know what I mean? Yesterday was damaging for the players. These money-making games doesn't make any sense. The season just ended to bring the team to Asia as soon as it's crazy and cruel. That's Glazer's and Ineos view. It was crazy and cruel, and the fact that, they set Man United up for this embarrassment at the end of the day was wrong. And Liverpool on the sunbed, as I said, Chelsea are now going on the sunbed, while we're going off to Hong Kong and India. Man United shouldn't be doing that. Man United shouldn't be going to India and going to places like that. What's it going to do for them? Little PR campaigns here and there. You know what I mean? Are we that desperate? Seems like we are at the end of the day. Mad, isn't it? Mad thing. Yesterday, Newcastle are ready to make a bid to Brentford for Mbeumo. If I'm going to say it, Shah, I think Mbeumo will probably go to Newcastle. If Newcastle are in for Mbeumo with their Saudi owners and things like that, why would Mbeumo come to Man United? He'll go to Newcastle. So what do we do about that? We don't cry about it. What do we do? Mastantuono, there's players out there that Man United can get that are very, very talented, of course. Cherky hasn't signed for anyone yet. Man City are interested, unfortunately, but hasn't signed for anyone yet. So there are players out there that we could get. So we need to work tooth for now. Rather than just, resting on our laurels and crying about a transfer that we can't get. Okay, you don't want to sign for Man United. Let's move on. Let's move on. That's what Man United should do, Absolutely. Big up, Composed View. Hope you're doing well. I support these post-season friendlies because it gives the world fan base an experience of high and lows on the team firsthand. I don't support it, mate. And I don't think anyone in their right mind would support it. Absolutely not. It's damaging for the football team. It's damaging. It's a dud opinion. It's your opinion, but it's a dud one because at the end of the day, we did it for money, not because it was right or wrong. Traditionally, no team does it. There's a reason for that, and at the end of the day, I respect the fan base around the world and stuff like that. Why don't Man United do it on preseason? Why don't we go to Malaysia on preseason? Why do we have to go on postseason? Why do we have to always go to America? Why can't we go to Asia? You know what I mean? Like that. That's what I would say. This post thing is cruel, as Tyborg said, and it is ridiculous in regards to going to post. It didn't do anything for Man United apart from harm us mentally, even more. And we were set up to fail there. The only way Liam Delap will come is if we offer him more wages and agents more money, and that's where we don't want to go to. Of course, we don't want to go on that level. I really think United to get all their signings early. I hope so, Composed View. Let the players settle and have a great preseason, prepared and focus on the upcoming season. There are so many strikers available. Just get one. Composed View. You know, if Colesberg made opinions, that will be it. At the end of the day, we hope that we can get a striker, you know what I mean, by the end of the window. And hopefully by the preseason, we've got the full amount of players there. Of course, Man United play Leeds United on the 19th of July. Hopefully, we got all the players in through the door on the 19th of July. Hopefully, fingers crossed, guys. We got all the players through the door, and we're not waiting on players, of course. Again, absolutely. These friendlies are arranged a year or two before making any announcement. This friendly was arranged about 6 months ago, Irfan. I know that for a fact because of financial things. Anthony cannot handle the physicality and intensity of the Premier League. It's that simple, is it? I told these guys about Anthony. I told these guys they're ranting and raving about Anthony. You know, ranting and raving. Good morning, Sonny Milan. Hope you're well. I heard Fabrice was saying that Barcelona will want Rashford. Never, it depend be a permanent sale. Yeah, Hansi Flick is a fan of Marcus Rashford as a squad player. So he'd probably be a squad player at Barcelona, not a first team. Coney, another player to watch growing up. Yeah, we knew that, mate. We knew that, of course. We hope so. Let's not put too much pressure on the lad. He's only played against ASEAN All-Stars, but I like what I saw. Very good. How many players is enough to compare? As Alex Ferguson said, you know, seldom. You play youngsters, they seldom let you down. How many players is enough to compete to get to the top four? 6 or 7. 6 or 7. Yeah. Top quality, 6 or 7 to fit the system. That's what I would say. Toxie. Kone played well yesterday. Very impressive. Wondering if we can replace someone in the midfield. He definitely needs first team football now. I think that if Casemiro doesn't look like leaving, no one wants Casemiro, unfortunately. But where do we go from here? You know, we need to try these players. These players are very talented. Kone is a very talented player. What do we do? You know, do we just sit down and wait, or do we move on? I honestly think Kone shows more to me than what Collier did. And I like Collier. And I think that we need to give Kone some first team football next year in the Premier League. Even if he plays in the League Cup, if he plays in the FA Cup. And I said it last season that we need to do that. We need to get some of these players through the door and get some of these players some first team football. Sorry. Malaysia thinking, why do we pay 8 million for them to come? I mean, they came in Man United supporters. They left Liverpool supporters. Absolutely. Big up, Shah. The only player who had never put anything wrong was Kone. I thought Cher Lacey was pretty good, Kenny. I thought he was pretty good. I think Tyler Fletcher did pretty good. Obviously, they need to do more. If you want to be a Man United player, you need to be more. The only one that really showed players, me something yesterday was Thwaites and Kone. That tackle from Thwaites yesterday was incredible. What a tackle that was. Running all the way the length of the pitch to do that. Unbelievable, guys. And can't even score against Asiana All-Stars. We can't score against anyone, guys. It doesn't matter. You got to remember that Asiana All-Stars are full of very experienced pros here, you know. They're very experienced pros, you know, what I would say. You know, so at the end of the day, we took them lightly. If Delap goes to Chelsea, then so be it. I'd rather get an experienced player. Me too. Delap said no, and Bremo not coming almost feels like unwanted team at the moment. Yeah, we are, mate. Champions League football was a big thing. But at the end of the day, if they don't want to sign for the great Man United, you've got to learn about the history of Man United. You know, many players in the past and over the many years, including Lenny Yoro, right, signed for Man United because of the history, the legacy, the Busby Babes. You know, in 1968, Alex Ferguson, you know, so Matt Busby. People sign for Man United because of that. We don't want players who just want to sign because we're in the Champions League. No, we want players who want to sign for this football club at the same time, you know, at the end of the day. And Bremo, you know, at the end of the day, let it be. If you want to go to Newcastle, go, mate. We need to move on. If we can't get these players, move on. Get the next player, you know, get the next player. You know, as my guy Irfan said, you know, Trincao, go and get Trincao. He's available. Go and get him. Get someone else. We just need to move on from it, you know, and that's what we need to do. Amram must stop more favoritism in selection. Yeah, I think every manager has that problem, though, Efran, even Alex Ferguson. The Liga hype died down. Guys, Kenny, Athletic Bilbao, fourth best team in La Liga, fourth best defensive record, right? And we smashed 7 past them. You know, and we can't score goals, and we smashed 7 past them. La Liga is dud. I've told people this over and over again. When they're talking about Anthony, you know, I told these people, cut in and shoot. The defenders in the Premier League will defend against it. This is what the Premier League are good at that. They can defend. You know, if you cut in, they're going to read it like a book. The Premier League's better at defending than La Liga. And that's it. You know, apart from obviously Barcelona, you can argue, or maybe Real Madrid, but Real Madrid got scored against Arsenal. It's not a good period for La Liga teams. Absolutely not. Definitely not. David says, Anthony can't really play against El Prieto. It's just not designed for it. It's not designed for it. Absolutely not. I think we shouldn't take yesterday's match too seriously. I agree. Players are not used to play in this climate. And I mean, look, you know what? I'm not happy with it. David says, I knew this was happen. I didn't think it should be played in the first place. But what I would say is that, you know what? Let's just move on. All right, let's move on. Against Hong Kong, play the kids, move on from these silly little post-match friendlies, right? And that's what we need to do at the end of the day. Smash likes, guys. Big up Charlem. Big up yourself. Hope you're well. The under-18 team plays much better football than the first team. Yeah, definitely. A scout apprentice who watched the UEFA competitions cancelled surely draw up a list of 50 strikers who can cost less than 30 million and better than Rasmus. I saw them myself. There's many. There's over 100 players around the world, goals for George, who would be better than Rasmus at the moment. You know, no disrespect to Rasmus. Cindy, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing fine. Some South American players. I've been saying that, Cindy, from time. Absolutely. We need to find some South American players because they still got that little bit of edge. They got that little bit of Greek, the street footballer, so to speak. They still got it, haven't they? That's what we need to do. There's loads of players out there. There's no excuses. You know, there's no excuses for Jason Wilcox. You lost your guy. That's it. Simple. Move on. Next. That's what we need to do at the end of the day. It's happened to Alex Ferguson. It's going to happen to loads of other people as well. Of course. Big up, Cindy. They have the right, yeah, because they're not overly rich too soon. They're not overly pampered too soon, is it? Good morning, Sal. No Delap. What other options do you reckon? There's many. Ekatike's one. Osman and Gutierrez are not over the line yet. I know it's unrealistic, but they still are an option. There's also Mateta of Crystal Palace, of course. Jonathan David is another one that Man United could be looking at. There is the South American market as well. Goal scorers in South America, lots of them. You know, that Man United could be looking at, and we are looking at the South American market at the moment. But let's not discount Musa, who is coming through the ranks at Man United, a very, very highly talented player. But Man United need an experienced striker who can put the ball in the net, guys. And that's what I would do. Look at Argentina, look at players like that. Of course, Man United need other positions as well. Man United need a right wing back. United are looking at Vanderson at the moment. Vanderson, of course, has just been called up to Carlo Ancelotti's first Brazilian team selection, of course. So Vanderson's another one. The next Cafu, I think he is, absolutely. We do not want mercenary players, absolutely. Malaysia got scammed, 8 million to be honest. 20 million altogether, Coco, altogether. I finally got over the UEFA Cup last week. Still a disgrace. We couldn't even score, but we move on to the next. Let's move on, Revert 7. That's all we can do, isn't it, Revert 7? We have nothing to... We can't dwell over anything now, unfortunately. You know, it's been a nightmare, guys. It has been a nightmare. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. It's been a very, very poor season. The only thing that went well in the whole season was Man City losing to Crystal Palace in the final. Because if Man City beat Crystal Palace... You couldn't wish this season on your worst nightmare, on your worst enemy. You couldn't wish this season on your worst enemy. A lot went wrong this season. You know, a lot went wrong. Even my local club, right, Leyton Orient, were in the Championship League One playoff final. They lost 1-0. You know, it's just one of those seasons where everything we touch, you know, Man United fans touch, turns to absolute dust. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely madness. Let me just read this tweet. Absolute crazy nuts. Inter vs Juve, who's your money on? Inter Milan for me. Inter vs Juve. Are they playing today, Dabisas? Inter versus PSG. Who's your money on? Yeah. Inter Milan, Dabisas. Inter Milan will win the game. I'm doing a watch along, guys. Don't forget, I'm doing a watch along. Inter Milan will win the game. I'm doing a watch along. Mona, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. Long time no speak. How about Ramos from PSG? It's gone a little bit quiet about Ramos. Remember, Man United were linked with Ramos a few years ago when he was playing for Benfica. Of course, very, very good striker. Is he injury prone? I'm not sure. But yeah, he hasn't really set the world alight in France. So I would say, would he set the world alight at Man United? Probably be better than Rasmus, obviously. More experience and stuff. Would he set the world alight at Man United? Would he do that? That's what I would want to say. But it has gone a little bit quiet in regards to Ramos. Has gone a little bit quiet. But thanks for reminding me about him, Mona. I haven't heard his name in a while. My brother was a Bilbao Spurs. My brother was at Bilbao, Spurs fan. I was at the Central London pub halfway Spurs. If Reds got spicy, yeah, I'm not surprised. Spurs, Chelsea and Spurs are known for that. There was fighting yesterday in Poland with Chelsea fans, wasn't there? If United won the final, Casemiro would have become the highest paid player in the Premier League. Bonuses would have been paid. Let me rather not start with the conspiracy. No, fan. No way. If that's the case, fan, we might as well just all give up football, because football's about trophies, I'm sure none of those players gave away the game. No way. This is English football, This is English football. This is an Algerian football, you know what I mean? Sorry, Juve was a typo, no problem. I was thinking, are they playing Juve? They're playing Champions League football day after tomorrow. What's going on? Yeah, my money's on Inter, Dabby says. My money's on Inter anyway. So that young Thwaites, left a lad is a midfielder and a free kick specialist. Decent prospect, amazing tackle. Yeah, amazing, mate. Amazing. Decent prospect. Maybe we just need to bring these players in. Maybe this is what we need to do, Big up Rich, the legend Rich, the one, the only Rich. Rich. I hope you're doing well, brother. I hope you're good. Good to see you, mate. Not the best time to be a Man United fan, but one thing, there's a silver lining in everything, guys. And what I would say is that we're not going to overreact. I personally think Man United will be back one day. I do believe that. By hook or by crook, I think we will be back. I know it's very hard to believe at the moment. I know it's hard to support Man United at the moment. But this is part of football, You go through these spells, And the great thing about it is that I'm very lucky in my life to have seen so many champions, 13 titles at Man United, I've seen. So I knew that these times may come. I didn't think it'd be this bad. But what I would say is that, survival of the fittest in this game, survival of the fittest in regards to your support for the football club. And you have to support the football club, even though you're down and out and you can't be bothered anymore and you're fed up, you're losing, getting bantered. Bring it on. I know that our time will come at the end of the day. Obviously, it is a big education this summer. We're gonna see what Ineos do. We're going to see who they sign. We're going to see what players we're linked with, and it's going to be exciting, and let's wait and see. Hopefully it is a good one. Big up, Rich. To be fair, half the fan base did not want Delap. If he's off to Chelsea, he will get goals, but I don't think he's going to light up the league. I don't think so, Cindy, but we never know, Cindy, do we? We never know, do we? We can think what happens. I remember Alan Shearer signing from Southampton, going to Blackburn and being an absolute monster when Man United wanted him. I remember lots of players who signed from various clubs over the years who become absolute beasts, I remember Man United wanted Hasselbank before he went to, who did he go to? Leeds. I remember that. I remember a lot of things. So at the end of the day, Gutierrez went from Coventry to Sporting and no one thought he would become the player he is. If Man United signed Gutierrez from Sporting, we'll be on there screaming. We have Saeed outside Old Trafford right now, spitting against the camera. You know what I mean? If we signed Gutierrez from Coventry City as our main striker, and people wouldn't even know that, would they? You know what I mean? There you go. We never know. But I wish him the best. I'm excited about Murphan. He's a nutter, isn't he? The exactly type of player we need. Absolute nutters, of course. Since Juve is rumoured to want Højlund, why don't we exchange him for Vlahovic? It depends on the FFP and the PSR. Swap deals are always notoriously difficult. The reason that swap deals are notoriously difficult, it's even more difficult now, obviously, because we have to match the PSR and FFP. Højlund is rumoured, is valued at 42 million for FFP and PSR. So to prevent a FFP and PSR loss, Man United must get at least 42 million for Højlund. Then we have to see how much Vlahovic is worth. And then you have to minus what Højlund is and then how much Vlahovic is worth. And then we have to calculate it on FFP. But also agent fees. who gets the money, which agent gets more money, this and that. It's always difficult, and we've rarely done swap deals, and they haven't really worked in regards to that. We had Mkhitaryan. You all remember Mkhitaryan, don't we? He was an absolute nightmare, wasn't it? Coco, Strand Larson really caught my eye this season, but he's gone under the radar. Yeah, a lot of players have. Coco, there's a lot of players that have caught my eye. Recent, of course, of Brentford, very, very good. Anderson, Crystal Palace defender. Very, very good, you know what I mean? Player, good players all round, guys. Good players all round, to be honest with you. Munoz of Crystal Palace done very, very well this season, of course. There are players out there, you know. Not many people were talking about the Brentford goalkeeper, you know, and now he's going to Leverkusen. You know, there we go. Wonder Kid, Dabba says, absolutely, Wonder Kid. SLD, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. If Napoli want Garnacho, could you do a swap deal with Arsenal? They owe us for McTominay. The problem is SLD is that Garnacho is non-valuable in regards to FFP and PSR. So if Man United do a swap deal, Man United will lose the money from Garnacho apparently, and then obviously the money that Osimhen is worth, which is about 60 million. So that could have a big adverse effect on FFP and PSR. But what Man United could do is sell Garnacho to Napoli, get the full profit, and reinvest that money into Osimhen. We can't do swap deals with that because obviously FFP, Osimhen being 62 million, Garnacho being free in regards to PSR, so it's difficult. It's complicated. I don't like PSR. I think it's just overcomplicating things. It's just making things too bloody difficult. We have to be a bloody genius to work this out. It's ridiculous. But I'm hearing things every single day, so absolutely. The true story, true Cindy, Delap isn't Rooney, is he? Lots more targets. Rooney's generational. I don't think anyone is Rooney rich at the moment. I don't think we're going to see a Rooney. Rooney's the type of player who comes every 20 years, isn't he? You know, like Lamine Yamal has come out of Barcelona every 20 years. You'll get one player who comes out and like, wow, you know what I mean? I think Rooney, we all remember Rooney in 2004, right? Remember when Rooney was playing in Euro 2004, everything he touched was a goal. And I think if he didn't get injured, he would have won us the trophy, England the trophy. We should nourish Kone as much as we can. He shines for us, and when he decides to leave, we get a maximum profit. True. Absolutely true. Thank you, Rich. It's good to see you, mate. Hope you're well, mate. Hope we'll be back, mate. I believe it. We have to believe it. If we don't believe it, what we're going to do? We're just going to moan, isn't it? And, we have to believe it. I can envision it. I keep seeing it, but, we have to wait. And, it'd be sweet here, Rich. And I hope we all know each other. And I hope we're still here in this community and Rich's community and our community. And we're, and we win something major. It'd just be a beautiful thing because I think the Man United fan base deserve it. If any fan base, apart from the few people, the loud, outspoken people online and stuff like that, who stand outside Old Trafford and things like that and slander the manager and certain players, Bald Fraud Brigade and Peanut Head Brigade, I think Man United fans, they deserve success for the way that Man United fans are stuck by this team. This last 13 years in particular, because it's very easy to support Man United under Alex Ferguson, right? It's very easy to support them. Now this is what it's all about. It's all about survival of the fittest and seeing the real ones, the real ones. I just hope that we do see. I hope we do see another title. I hope we see another Champions League. It would be great. And it would be a beautiful feeling. We'll be back when we have world-class players again. It will happen one day. We will. Our golden generation will come. United player actually signs, you never know. Until a player, you never know, mate. You never know. It's true. United needs a proper striker. Hoyland and Xerxes are more of a physical false number 9s, which don't have a 3-4-2-1 system. They don't fit. I agree with that, PLJ. Good to see PLJ. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're having a good day. I agree. Man United need a proper striker. Yeah, a real number 9. You know what I mean? I would love Mateta. Yeah, I would. I don't know what people are saying about Mateta, but I would love Mateta. I think he's a fantastic player, to be honest with you. I really do. I think he's gone under the radar a little bit. It would cost 60 million, though. So has Cunha deal been confirmed yet? Cunha needs to do his medical. I think he's in Brazil at the moment. So he might do his medical in Brazil, or we'll wait until the preseason when he comes back. So he won't officially be at Man United to the 1st of July, I believe, around that time. He's not going to be at the tour or anything, so he's in Brazil at the moment. So having a medical in Brazil probably won't be a thing, but, you never know. It's happened before. He'll probably do everything and sign on a dotted line in July. But nothing has been 100% confirmed. Absolutely not. Until he's holding up that jersey, nothing is confirmed. We all remember when Mikel signed for Man United, holding up that jersey, and it still fell through. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, mad. I remember that night. It was yesterday. True supporters is a supporter when we are down. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Gary. What's going on? Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I was just supporters. No one would want to sign. Gary, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Let's wait and see, Gary. Let's see what happens during the summer. I'm not getting overly giddy. I'm not getting overly zealous. I'm just going to see what happens in the summer and see where we go from here. You know, there's no point us raising our blood pressure. You know, it's no point. You know what I mean? I've got a high blood pressure as it is. I'm not going to raise my blood pressure even more. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, yeah, Man United's fault. So at the end of the day, you know, I hope that we can do something this summer and we enter next season enthusiastic, in buoyed mood. You know, I hope so. I really do, because I think this fan base deserve it. I think we have the best fan base in the world, apart from a few who like to stand at Old Trafford screaming their lungs at. But yeah, I think we have the best fan base in the world, and I think we deserve everything. You know, we deserve the best. We always will be back. We didn't even have a team after disaster, but we still made a team after. We won the league in 1963, Dabizas. We won the Champions League, European Cup in 1968. You know, nobody knows adversity like Man United. No adversity. We went 26 years without winning a title, guys. You know what I mean? We're halfway there at the moment. Sorry, guys, but you know what I mean? Just to let you know, we're halfway through our worst spell in regards to that. But, you know, hopefully, guys, hopefully. Goals for George. Chelsea have a striker's curse and makes most flop. There have been third turns on them. And so Delap, beware. Apart from Drogba and Costa, can't remember any success from the Abramovich area. You can't remember any success. Hasselbank went to Chelsea, did very well. But you're absolutely right, in a way, goals for George. Chelsea's not the best place to develop a striker. Chris Sutton, Andrei Shevchenko. We all know how good Andrei Shevchenko was, guys. If you knew how good Andrei Shevchenko was, you would know. If you know, you know. Kezman, who left. Remember Kezman, who left, of course, at Chelsea, of course, guys. Yeah, I said Chris Sutton, didn't I? Who else signed for Chelsea? It didn't do too well. Who else was it? Trying to think of any. There is more. There are more strikers who didn't do well at Chelsea, if I can remember, who signed for Chelsea. Who didn't well. There's loads. There is loads. I'm trying to think. Emerson Tome was one. He was a midfielder, though, wasn't he? Emerson Tome. Yeah. Vla is on a huge salary and had not the best year. An option for sure. Stone is an option. Yeah. Would you trust him? He's got a good record at Serbia. You know, let's wait and see. Sancho Gimenez, another striker. Marcher, yes, very good player, of course. Mentioned on the show before. PSI, etc. I don't think we will see many swap deals for this reason. Exactly, Rich. It's very complicated, but it's true. I've been avoiding football since our defeat last week. Revert 7. Face the music and dance. Just face the music. We got to support our team. I've been some dire football from United since the 1970s and 80s. We were a cup side, but watching this season as well. No, but at the end of the day, Cindy, the relegation signed in 1974 was much better than this side. At least we had, you know, good players, Lou Macari, players of that nature, you know. At least we had good players, you know. We had very good players, you know. And now I think this team is probably one of the worst, if not the worst Man United team I've seen in my lifetime. And I think probably the worst Man United, definitely top 2, top 3, worst team in history in regards to Man United. You know, and I'm going back to Newton Heath. You know, I'm going back to there, you know. Sal, any news on the project? When are they starting? I don't know, mate. They lost their pencils. Absolutely. Big up, Kenny. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, we had a nightmare, Kenny, yesterday. We had a few nutters on the show. Really, really crazy people on the show yesterday. It's ridiculous. When are we playing Hong Kong Thursday? Tomorrow. Revert 7 tomorrow. I will be live. Guys, I will be live. I believe is it 12 something? 3:30, 12, 12:30. I'll be live. I believe I'm live 12:30. So Sal, No, we have Kone, Yoro, Heaven. I'm smiling a little. We need. It fills you with a little bit of optimism, doesn't it, Earthfan? It fills you a little bit of optimism. Yoro, Aiden, Heaven, Kone. It's the base, isn't it? We're getting there. You know, we're getting there. We're getting there a little bit. I rate Delete. I do. I rate Delete. Sorry. I think I rate Delete. I think it's the attack that is the biggest issue for Man United. It's the attack. Maybe 5 to Q. 5 to Q. There we go. Big up. 5 to 6, I think. Big up, Gary. So true. Now the time is to be a true fan rather than glory hunters. True, thick and thin. Absolutely. You know, at least one thing's for certain. I was grown all my being raised in London. I was always called a glory hunter, even though Man United were crap when I started supporting Man United. Why did you support Man United? I started supporting Man United 88, 89, right? Why did you support Man United? Why don't you support your local club? Leyton Orient, West Ham, blah, 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 and stuff like that, right? I said I fell in love with the history of Man United. I fell in love with the history. So when we started to get successful during the 90s, every time I would tell someone that I meet that I'm a Man United fan, oh, you're a glory hunter. Oh, my God. I started supporting Man United before we were glorious. You know, I started supporting Man United before that. You know, but now at least no one can call us a glory hunter. No one can call us glory hunters at the end of the day. Absolutely not. 5 to 10 years. We shouldn't accept that, though, Gary. We should never accept that. We've done 13 years already. So we're going to do 26 years. Same as 1992, 93. I take Mateta and Wharton, but sadly, we are 7 million each at least. Yeah, a lot of money. Hong Kong Friday. Yeah, Friday. Can't wait for it. Hello, Freya. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. 1 p.m. kickoff for you, not for me. Is it 1 p.m. kickoff? Are you in London, Cindy? It'd be 4. Yeah, you're right. It's 4 p.m. for me. It's 4 p.m. for me. Amram looks like a lost faith in his team. Yeah, he don't like this team. He doesn't. Absolutely not. He hates it. Morata. Oh, Morata. It's a good point. There you go. Morata is one. He's a little bit. He didn't really. Another striker who didn't do well for Chelsea. Morata. There you go. Didn't Amram say that we managed to change things at United, which would take 3 years for other clubs? If this is true, then we should be competitive next season. At least we'll be in Europe next season, and hopefully we win a trophy. There you go, combat. Torres, another one. That's the one I forgot. Lots of strikers have been at Chelsea, have done crap. Chelsea ruined Chevy, Fernando Torres for a while. And Nelka, again, yeah, he done it right at Chelsea, I think, Nelka, but yeah. Shevchenko was the one, though. Shevchenko was an absolute hitman. He was a hitman at AC Milan. My God. Fernando Torres, yeah. I mean, when Fernando Torres at Liverpool, he was brilliant. Amram should diversity in his team in pre-season friendlies, or we just get injuries before season begins. Yeah, I think he should diversify it. I agree. Cheers, Sal. Cheers, Reds. Big up, fan. Have a good day. Big up. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Hit the likes, guys, on the way out. Thank you, guys. Yeah, please don't forget to hit the like button. Cindy, Kone will be a good player. He's a type we need. I agree. Absolutely. Toxie, I'm just tired of how we play. Backwards, no crosses. It would change, Toxie. It would change. I've seen this story before. Toxie, my guy. I've seen it before. It would change by hook or by crook. Guys, thank you for joining me today. You're absolute legends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also, please don't forget to smash a like on the video if you kindly do that for me. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Don't forget to put your notifications on. I will be live later on for Chatterbox, so don't forget to join me for that, of course, which will be about, is it 11:45? 12:45? 11:45, roughly. 12, 1, 2, yeah. 11:45. Around that time, I might be live later on. So keep your notifications on. Have a good day, guys, and take it easy. Peace.